Seeker with another video. It's a beautiful day. But this one, we're gonna be discussing Vontoocut, his video. He made a 30-minute plus long video. And in this video, he talked about just exposing reality for what it is, saying that the whole thing is a rat race. And again, I understand where he's coming from, because that's why they say the rabbit hole goes deep. So he got into a lot of it, and I don't necessarily believe or agree with everything he say, but there's a lot of truth to it. But one, I can say this, I feel like he's where Albert Einstein was. Albert Einstein said, the thinking that has brought me this far has created some problems that this thinking can't solve. So him knowing everything he's learned, because he's been on a journey for a long time. I remember when he first started YouTube, I was watching him, Spiritual Soul, Foster eBay, Immortal Minds, Infinite Waters, Alan Watts, all these people, even some females, just talk about higher consciousness and what is this reality, or what we think it is. And he was basically saying the whole thing is a rat race, and at the end that nothing really matters, but really nothing matters in the end. There's a song on that, and it doesn't even matter. But he was saying that we created all this, and it's just an endless cycle, and we need to stop the cycle. And I would like to agree with that, but it's forces that human beings can't control. Like he said, there's no point of even going vegan, because when you eat meat or eating plants, you're just eating yourself. And yes, everything is connected and everything is within itself, but still you gotta understand things that are alive, cells that are alive, they're electrical. So when you eat plants, fruits, and vegetables, they're electrical. So when you eat meat, you're not eating electricity, you're eating death. So that was just one fallacy right there. He has a lot, but if you are new to this, don't go watch that, because you probably won't even understand half the stuff he talk about. Because it's like Infinite Waters, he says diving deep, but he be diving deep. But in Von's video, he basically went all the way to the bottom and was just talking about heaven, hell, and everything we know. Our interpretation of everything is just our interpretation of it. It's just created by man or human. And he calls us gods. I'm God, him God, and I understand where he's coming from with that. But again, you gotta understand that sun rise every morning, every day that motherfucker rise, and we can't control that. So again, there's higher forces to it. There are higher consciousness, and he was saying that once you reach God consciousness, that you realize that everything's connecting. There's no point in all of it, and we created this reality, ego, all this construct out of boredom. And I would like to think that, but again, it's too many consciousness out there. There's too many animal consciousness out there. These trees, they live and they breathe, and just like us, we're in symbiotic relationship with them. So for him to go out and say all this is beyond me. I mean, again, I understand where we're going with it, because I've did my own research, and I understand that the rabbit hole goes deep. But it's like he was trying to compare life to perfection. See, perfection is an illusion, because nothing can be perfect, because if it's perfect, it has to sustain perfection throughout its whole lifespan of being perfect. But see, once you hit perfection, there's nowhere else to go. So if you're perfected, you're at the top, the peak. There's nowhere else to go. So butt down, and nothing is perfect the whole time. So I feel like that's what he was trying to say, but I didn't agree with all the things he said. But he's an intelligent brother, so I respect what he had to say, and I call myself Seeker. That is my ego, Seeker. And I'm saying that is my ego out of the fact that I don't even have an ego, because I understand what the ego is. See, people like to say that we know we're the highest intelligence, this, that, the third, and we are just creators of everything. We are creators of our own reality. That's it. So my ego Seeker that's my alias. That's the name I gave myself because I'm always a seeker of knowledge. I'm always willing to listen. I'm always willing to get new understandings. So, but he had a lot of good points. I encourage you to go watch it if you are educated on a lot of things. Education emanates from the Greek word edukari. It means to lead out, to bring out. See, in society nowadays, we call it education, but all we do is program. All we do is feed into people. Told y'all I got everything in reverse, but that was just my thoughts on his video because I would love to talk to the man and understand his thought process of how he got to this conclusion. But I mean, I kind of already do understand how he got to the conclusion based on my own studies and experiences. But I'll say this. My father, he is colorblind. People ask me, are there different realities, this, that, the third? And I was like, there's 7 billion different realities right now going on. And somehow they're all connected. See, my father is colorblind, and he can't even see the same reality as me because he can't see the same colors. And that's proof in itself. And that should be enough to let y'all know that you are a creator. See, Neville Goddard said, man does not get what he wants, simply what he is. So, your reality, I have a quote that I came up with myself, your reality is based on perceptions and beliefs. Whatever beliefs you hold and how you perceive things is what your reality will be. See, me, I believe that we're just here. Life is sustaining, and there are higher forces than the human being, higher consciousness that we can reach. And my perspectives on the world go hand in hand with my beliefs. See, people believe in the Bible, Quran, all these things, and you got to understand that your perception of reality is going to be based on what you believe. These two things go hand in hand. But again, I encourage you to go watch that video. It's interesting. He just talks about the rat race. He basically said that the Big Bang was human beings, or gods, us being the gods, human beings being the experience, consciousness being God, that the human being is the ego, is a form of ego because we created it out of boredom to live a fantasy being this life. And his premise for that was that everything is connected. See, when I look at someone else, I'm looking at myself because everything is connected. God consciousness is in all of us. These cars, these trees, these blankets, constructs, buildings, and I understand where he's coming from that because you got to understand that everything arises from our thoughts. Somebody had to think of, I'm looking at a Jeep, 1995 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Somebody had to design it. Multiple consciousness designed it. And that thought is where the Jeep rose from. They had to think it and then put it on paper and then manifest it. That's how manifestation works. That's how law of attraction works. So again, he has valid points, but another thing, he says that we know that we're in the endless cycle. So reincarnation is a thing, and we're just in an endless cycle, and we all human beings know that. And for us to end the fantasy, for us to end this construct, we all have to come to the conclusion that we created it, and we created it out of boredom, and that we need to get off the wheel. See, the wheel is life, the fantasy, the matrix, and see, when you hop off of the wheel, there's nothing else. So he said, when you hop off, see what else is there. She said, close your eyes and just picture your thoughts. He said, that's what we were before we became flesh and bone. And again, he has a a lot of good reasoning. I encourage you to go watch it, but it's already 10 minutes on the video, so I'm gonna end it saying he's a very intelligent brother, and I create my own reality, so I'm gonna go with what I believe, what I perceive, and life is too beautiful to not appreciate it for what it is. And I can say when I was in the matrix, when I was in society and living for society, going to college, getting a degree, getting a car, get a house, get a family, retire, grow old, I was in the rat race. But ever since I left all that and I started forming my own reality, creating my own reality, creating my own manifestations, beginning to manifest and become my greatest version of myself, or what I think is the greatest version of myself, that the rat race was left behind. See, now I'm working for myself. I'm working for God. I'm working for higher consciousness. I'm helping the planet grow, evolve, because it's always growing. Life is a cycle. See, life is always self-sustaining. It's always growing. It's always getting better. It's always evolving, even up until death. And then the energy transforms. And that's another fallacy. I gotta end it. We'll get into it. We'll get into more of it later. But again, I encourage y'all to go watch it. But this is just my response to it. And he's an intelligent brother. But I know I have the power to create my own reality. If I was to just lay here and never do anything again, that's what my reality is going to be. Nothing will move, nothing will work, nothing will manifest unless I do it. I am the catalyst. I am the variable. I'm the alchemist. So remember, the power is with you. So namaste.